Well, so far you've heard my voice, but then I brought two friends along. Next on the mic is my man, Jer. Come on, Jer, sing that song.
David Weiler.
Subscribe now to the OTB Football Podcast stream wherever you get your podcasts and download the OTB Sports app.
So the statement came in this evening. Manchester United delighted to announce the club has reached agreement with Real Madrid for the transfer of French international defender and World Cup winner Raphael Varane, subject to a medical and to player terms being finalised. So deal pretty much done. I think we can take it as read that Varane and Harry Maguire will be partnering up for the seasons ahead. Still just 28 years of age. Varane feels like he's been around for a very, very long time at Real Madrid, for a decade now. And the deal reportedly 34 million sterling, rising to 42 million with add-ons. Very happy to welcome Andy Mitten, editor of United We Stand, to the show. I trust you're enjoying your summer. Hi Andy, good to have you with us.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me on. And summer has been interesting. I did a couple of calls with you from being in the Euros. I tried to have a bit of time off, but you can never fully unplug when football clubs decide to sign major players and just spring it on you with 9 minutes notice. But we knew it was coming, and we knew that Jadon Sancho was coming with Manchester United as well. So it all starts from here.
Yeah, they've got their business done early, Manchester United. So Varane obviously has just a stellar CV. 4 Champions League titles, 3 La Ligas. He's played about 80 times for France, a World Cup winner. You name it, he's pretty much done it in the game. A year left on his contract at Real Madrid, Andy. Who initiated this move? Has Varane forced his way out? Do we know, was he like determined to get out of Real Madrid one way or another? Or was it that Manchester United pursued him and the move came about that way? Was Paul Pogba high-fiving him in the French dressing room? What do we know about this move?
Determined would be too strong. I think Real Madrid want money, need money. And they let it be known a year ago that basically every player they had was up for sale. And a lot of their players either earn too much money or are too old. So they were never going to get a transfer fee for Gareth Bale, for example. Although they could have got money off the wage bill like they did with Sergio Ramos. And Manchester United needed a central defender. The 3 central defenders United watch most closely were all playing in La Liga. Raphael Varane, Jules Kounde at Sevilla, and Pau Torres at Villarreal. And Varane was always seen as the Rolls-Royce option, the best option. It was just whether Manchester United could get a player with that CV you've just described at his age away from Real Madrid. And United fans were very sceptical that they could, but it has happened, and the signing has been absolutely welcomed by United fans. From the player's perspective, he knew Real Madrid's financial situation, which is not a desperate one like Barcelona, but they are planning on bringing in a stellar signing. The board won't have to face the wrath of the fans because there's been no fans at matches, so it's very hard to judge what Real Madrid fans really think of Varane. And I've seen Real Madrid play live in the last season several times, and he was never a big character in the dressing room. He was never a big star there. Despite that stellar CV, Ramos always overshadowed him in the defence. But he's a brilliant central defender. I've spoken to people who've played with him today and just got absolutely glowing reports about his quality. I knew that. I knew that United had been impressed by all of his attributes, which, when you're a 4-time Champions League winner and French World Cup winner, you're not going to be a bad player. But he was fast, he was good in the air. He was really fast, actually, technically excellent. And that's why United considered him to be the best potentially gettable central defender. When United found out that he wanted to come, then that was even more encouraging. But of course, they'd heard that all before and felt that they'd been played before, especially by players of Real Madrid. So excuse United and their fans for being circumspect up to this point.
And it's that rare thing in modern day football as well. Pretty good value. I mean, if you can say that about anyone who costs 42 million. But when you're 28 years of age, he's going to be there for 5-6 very good years. So, look, that is a very tidy summer thus far. We're not even into August. Sancho done. Varane done. This is all a little bit unlike Manchester United in recent seasons. They've had some messy summers. So that's all good. The Pogba situation obviously has the potential to get slightly messy. The last I saw, Andy, was increasingly unlikely to sign new contract extension in one of the papers I was reading. So do we know where we are with this?
don't think anybody knows. I think if Paul Pogba was offered enough money, he would sign to stay at Manchester United, and that's what it's about. It's about money.
Okay.
And I've had very mixed signals from very good sources this year alone. Somebody very close to him told me in February he's absolutely amenable to signing a new contract, and you get this ebb and flow all the time with Paul Pogba, and it's never really changed throughout all of his time at Manchester United. There are actually parallels with Varane's situation. He is out of contract in a year. If he's not signed a contract, then he would be able to leave at some point for nothing. And Real Madrid knew that with Varane as well. And Madrid made him an offer. They didn't push really hard. And Varane knew that, so that was a factor in him leaving the club. I think Manchester United would like Paul Pogba to stay right now. They're not going to go absolutely crazy and make him the best paid player in the world. And I think if a major offer came in for Paul Pogba, United would give that serious consideration. On his day, Pogba's a world-class player. He's just been too inconsistent. And if you ask me to mark him, since he signed from Juventus in 2016 for that world record fee, he is underwhelmed. I'd actually still think he's got a future at Manchester United, but you get so many mixed signals, and you get this real swing every 6 months. In December, you couldn't find a United fan who wanted him to stay. And in January, you could, because they're thinking, okay, he's scoring good goals, United top of the league again. So that's the situation with him. Nobody really knows the answer. You couldn't speak to one person right now who would say he's going to stay or he's going to go.
Fair enough. And I guess, look, business comes into it now, because then they will also at board level be mulling over strategy. So say they're sitting down with Solskjaer, who, by the way, has signed a contract extension himself, we should mention, and saying, look, what are your feelings on Pogba? And, maybe, not sure, maybe jury's out like all of us. There is an argument, well, let's sign him, let's make him best paid player in the world, and then let's try sell him either January or next summer, and what you'll sell him for next summer would potentially be double what you might sell him when he's only got a year left in his contract. So all of these things swirl around where they say, look, Ole, can you make Pogba work on 500 grand a week for the next year, and then we'll offload him for 70, 80 next year, as opposed to selling him for 25, 30 now. These are all the issues at play.
Yeah, they are, and we're seeing different numbers in the transfer market now. You saw that with the reduction in Jadon Sancho's fee, and United commercially are extremely astute. United have been hit badly by the pandemic as well. So for United to go out and spend as much as they've spent, and it's all right saying only 42 million, United have spent a lot of money in this transfer window, and it's surprised the fans as well. But United need to move players on in a market where there's very few buyers. Look at who Real Madrid are signing. They brought a free signing in from Bayern Munich in Alaba. Yes, they're going to go stellar and try and get an Mbappe or a Haaland, but you're seeing clubs cutting right back. Barcelona, who spent over 100 million on several players a few years ago, they're not in a position to sign anyone for any serious amount of money. Manchester City, they made their targets quite clear. Other clubs are looking quite settled. So you're seeing less activity in terms of huge transfer fees, because the money floating around is a lot less because of the global pandemic.
No, it's true. And you play out the Pogba dilemma at boardroom level. The last thing they want to do is throw 500 grand a week at him and then not be able to sell him the following summer, and a manager who's lukewarm on him. So then you're back to maybe we get rid of him this summer. That's going to be interesting. Marcus Rashford, I wanted to ask you about, Andy. So as I understand it, based on various reports, he had a meeting at the club today. He's due back on Sunday, but he brought forward a meeting today. It seems in effect to decide what he's going to do about his injury situation, in particular his shoulder, whether or not to have surgery. It seems he played most of last year with painkilling injections and not being fully fit, even though he racked up as many minutes as pretty much anybody at the club. The downside with the surgery is it keeps him out until October, potentially. So do we know what the club want here? Do we know what Marcus Rashford wants here? No,
I don't know the outcome of the meeting. And I think his form was clear to see when it faded away, and he barely featured for England. And some United fans, they love Rashford, but there are concerns about him. He started last season very well, but I don't know whether he's decided to have the operation or not. There's been conflicting reports on that. I didn't even know of the meeting today, if I'm completely honest, because I took a little bit of time off because I do have a family. And then I started getting pinged saying, yeah, it's going to move tonight. And when it's between a Spanish club and an English club, given that I divide my time between Spain and England, it just goes a bit mental. So I'm not just getting it from the English-speaking side. It's all coming from Madrid. I've had 9 calls from Madrid in the last 2 hours as well. So I'll promise you, next time you speak to me, I'll give you a good update on Marcus Rashford. I do know people very close to him, rather than just try and wing it now and say I don't know what's happening, because I don't.
Yeah, well, that is generally a welcome answer as well. There's no problem with that. And to be fair, that meeting only happened today, so we don't quite know what the situation is. Very few people do. Just one other thing to throw at you, and this is a more general point. So Manchester United, to much of their own fanfare as opposed to anybody else's, they've revealed there's a new fan advisory board structure at the club. And so it seems like this is a follow-on from in June when Joel Glazer attended his first fans forum. So now basically United have released a big statement to say how once a year either Joel or Avram Glazer are going to attend an annual meeting with this fans advisory board, all in a bid, I suppose, to quell the opposition. You kind of forget, don't you, sometimes, that Manchester United Liverpool was abandoned, stopped last year. That's how, I suppose, fractious the situation had become there. I mean, this stuff, it's very hard not to be cynical about it. So, you can see Joel and Avram flicking the coin now, and whoever loses saying, do you want to go best of 3? I mean, go along, nod, listen to, yeah, we care, we love the fans, and get the hell out of there again.
I think it was good that they started to communicate, and it took 16 years, which was disgraceful, actually. And Manchester United fans were they had no trust in the Glazers. And when Joe Glazer said in that statement he wanted to rebuild trust, there was no trust to rebuild because they hadn't communicated at all. I think communication can lead to improvements, be it in politics, be it in sport, be it between fans of a football club and the owners of the club. And if the Glazers are going nowhere and they've got no intention of going nowhere, they're the ones who are in situ at the moment. There's good fans involved, good fans who were involved in that fans forum, people who give up their time for free. Against the wall of, you said cynicism, people are, and the sceptical as well. But what is the alternative? David Gill cut the cord of communication with fans, and that wasn't for the better. The atmosphere has improved inside Old Trafford. You're seeing good initiatives, ticket prices going down, the club genuinely listening to fans. And I think that is an encouraging thing. Okay. Can fans buy a meaningful stake in the club? I would absolutely hope so. The Glazers have got to be clearer on how many shares with genuine voting powers are going to be up. And if it's not seen as being considerable or significant, then there's always another protest waiting to happen. You saw United fans, they come out on the streets. This isn't just angry people online tweeting their gutter reactions, their knee-jerk reactions. This is real-life people on the streets of Manchester who love that football club, who were very concerned when the club joined the European Super League. But that was only the tip of the iceberg. A lot of other fans had reason to protest for different reasons, and you saw the strength of that feeling. It was stronger at Manchester United than pretty much any other football club.
Yeah. Final one, Andy. So Varane, which is the reason we had you on, I guess, is in. Jadon Sancho is in. You mentioned Manchester United, for all their wealth, don't have limitless cash to spend in this post-pandemic season. So are you expecting them to do more business? Is there an area or sense that they are prioritising, or might this be it for the summer?
Well, I wrote about Kieran Trippier two months ago when United wants him. They're just not going to pay stupid money for him, and they didn't pay stupid money for Rafael Varane. Look to midfielders as well, but United have got to move players on. It's just common sense. It's all right, fans, and I call them transfer junkies. More. Buy more. They will never, ever be happy. And in the summers of 14 and 15, United also brought some world-class players in, and everyone was delighted when Schweinsteiger came in and Di Maria came in, but they didn't really work out. So I'm encouraged by Varane, absolutely encouraged by Jadon Sancho, but there's got to be more than that. And I think there is more. I think Solskjaer's doing a good job. He's building this solid base. He'll always going to want more players, but United's squad is massive now. They've got to get rid or move some players off the wage bill. I wouldn't be surprised if there is another player, but I just cannot see a very expensive player coming in. And I think you're going to have some of the players there would have to push their way out. The problem they've got is they earn that much money. It's like, I really want to play football and I might not be playing it at Old Trafford, but am I going to take a 40% pay cut? So you might get a lot of very late activity with players going on loan, where Manchester United subsidise a portion of their wages. I would expect that to happen.
Okay. Andy Mitten, editor of United We Stand. Get back, enjoy the break. Good to talk to you. We'll talk to you in a few weeks, no doubt again. Thanks a million.
Thank you.